If Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, were assassinated by an Israeli airstrike using F-15 jets in a complex operation, the consequences would be profound and multifaceted, affecting Lebanon, Israel, Hezbollah, Iran, and the broader Middle East. Below is an analysis of potential reactions and outcomes based on historical context, statistical insights, and political dynamics. Immediate reactions and retaliation. Hezbollah's response. Retaliatory strikes. Hezbollah has a history of responding to the assassination of its leaders and members with immediate retaliation. The assassination of Imad Mughniya in 2008, a key military commander of Hezbollah, led to a significant escalation in attacks against Israeli targets. Following Nasrallah's assassination, it is likely that Hezbollah would initiate rocket attacks against Israel, targeting military installations, border communities, and potentially civilian areas. Increased militancy. The group could mobilize its fighters and increase operational activity in both Lebanon and Syria. This might involve launching cross-border raids or utilizing its extensive network of militants and allies across the region, particularly in southern Lebanon and Syria. Public reaction in Lebanon. Civil unrest. Nasrallah is a prominent figure within the Shia community in Lebanon. His assassination could lead to widespread protests and riots, particularly among Hezbollah supporters, who may view this as an attack not only on their leader but also on their community. Public demonstrations might escalate into violent clashes with security forces, strengthening of support for Hezbollah. In the short term, the assassination might lead to increased support for Hezbollah, as many in the Shia community would rally around the group in response to perceived aggression from Israel. This could temporarily solidify Hezbollah's position in Lebanese politics. Regional reactions. Iran's response. Support for Hezbollah. Iran has been a long-standing ally of Hezbollah, providing financial, military, and political support. Following Nasrallah's assassination, Iran would likely respond by increasing its support for Hezbollah, potentially sending additional weapons or funding to sustain military operations. Proxy mobilization. Iran could also mobilize its other proxies in the region, including groups like Hashd al-Shaabi in Iraq, Asaib al-Haq, and the Houthis in Yemen, to conduct retaliatory attacks against U.S. or Israeli interests, thereby expanding the conflict beyond Lebanon. Impact on Syria. Involvement of Syrian forces. Given Hezbollah's involvement in Syria's civil war on behalf of the Assad regime, there could be a renewed military commitment from Hezbollah to secure Assad's interests. Syrian forces, bolstered by Iranian support, may also take a more aggressive stance against Israel if they perceive the attack as part of a broader Israeli strategy to weaken their regime. Israeli strategic calculations. Military doctrine. Increased operations. The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, may ramp up military operations in Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah's infrastructure and leadership to eliminate any potential successors to Nasrallah. This could include drone strikes and ground incursions, aiming to degrade Hezbollah's operational capabilities. Security measures. Heightened security. Following Nasrallah's assassination, Israel would likely enhance security measures along its northern border, fearing retaliation from Hezbollah and its allies. The IDF might conduct preemptive strikes against known Hezbollah positions and increase intelligence operations to prevent further attacks. Global and diplomatic reactions. International response. Condemnation and support. Countries in the region may condemn Israel's actions, viewing it as an escalation of violence. Arab states, particularly those aligned with Iran, would likely express solidarity with Hezbollah, leading to a surge in anti-Israel sentiment across the Middle East. U.S. positioning. The U.S. would likely reaffirm its support for Israel while calling for restraint from all parties to avoid escalation into a broader conflict. Washington might also increase diplomatic efforts to prevent further violence and stabilize Lebanon. So let's talk about the long-term consequences. You see, understanding these outcomes is crucial for grasping the bigger picture. Over time, these events will shape the geopolitical landscape in ways we can't fully predict. But we can certainly anticipate some significant shifts. These changes will undoubtedly influence policies, economies, and societies across the globe. Shift in power dynamics in Lebanon. Potential for new leadership. Nasrallah's assassination would create a leadership vacuum within Hezbollah. While the group has a structured hierarchy, the emergence of a new leader could lead to changes in operational tactics and strategic objectives. A new leader might adopt a more aggressive or a more conciliatory approach, depending on their ideology and background. Increased sectarian tensions. The assassination could exacerbate sectarian tensions within Lebanon. Sunni groups, particularly those aligned with the government or foreign interests, might see an opportunity to challenge Hezbollah's dominance, leading to further fragmentation in Lebanese society. Geopolitical shifts. Impact on Iranian influence. Iran's regional influence might be tested following Nasrallah's death. If Hezbollah becomes destabilized, Iran may seek to fill the void by supporting other militant groups or expanding its influence in neighboring countries, which could lead to further sectarian violence in the region. Normalization with Arab states. On the other hand, if Hezbollah is weakened, there could be opportunities for normalization between Israel and certain Arab states, particularly those that have been hesitant to engage due to Hezbollah's military presence and threats. Countries like Saudi Arabia may find it politically advantageous to strengthen ties with Israel if it diminishes Hezbollah's power. Statistical context. Historical precedents. Looking at historical events, the assassination of high-profile figures such as Imad Mughniya and Yasser Arafat led to increased violence and conflict in their respective regions. For instance, Mughniya's death in 2008 resulted in escalated attacks on Israeli targets and heightened tensions between Hezbollah and Israel. Violence and casualties. After significant assassinations, casualty rates in conflict zones often spike. Following Mughniya's assassination, estimates suggest that Hezbollah launched over 10,000 rockets into Israel during the 2006 Lebanon War, resulting in substantial civilian casualties on both sides. A similar pattern could emerge after Nasrallah's assassination. Conclusion: a complex and volatile future. The assassination of Hassan Nasrallah would trigger immediate violence and unrest, destabilizing Lebanon and potentially igniting broader regional conflicts. The balance of power within Hezbollah and its relationship with Iran would be tested, leading to a potential shift in geopolitical dynamics across the Middle East. With heightened sectarian tensions and a potential increase in retaliatory violence, the situation would demand careful management by both regional and global powers to prevent escalation into a larger conflict. The historical precedents set by similar events suggest that the repercussions of such an assassination could resonate for years to come, reshaping alliances, political landscapes, and the security environment in the region.